Driving. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the comic book nerd edition of Affinity Stream Podcast. I am Contrell, joined as always by Jay and Leonard. How you guys doing?
Good morning.
Feeling good.
Good. Today's movie is called Venom: The Last Dance, or Venom 3, 2024. Rated PG-13, runtime of 1 hour and 48 minutes. And if you have not seen this movie, spoilers are ahead. Before we get started, always please follow us on our socials, like and subscribe on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. All right, Venom. Eddie and Venom are on the run. Directed by Kelly Marcel. It's actually the first movie she's ever directed. It is currently streaming on demand, released October 25th, 2024, starring Tom Hardy. Rotten Tomatoes score of 41% critics, 80% audience, and a 5.0 on Film Affinity. All right, Leonard, since Venom is your favorite character, tell us how you enjoyed this movie.
Venom is my favorite character. Okay, so
Just again.
what I saw in the movie was, having watched the other two, is a maturation of the relationship between the host and Brock. So Brock being the host, between him and Venom. So I saw a bonding of the relationship. That was kind of okay for me. But then I saw you young people, which I always see in it. So what I saw was basically it was his passive, laid back, even though he was aggressive reporter, personality being up a couple of tops by Venom, who like party animal.
But did you enjoy the movie?
I haven't watched all three of them. I enjoyed it a bit. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it was all right. It was all right. The side plot of the family was dumb. Like I don't even know why they were there. Like that was a waste of time.
Cool. That's my favorite part.
Are you referring to the family I took the road trip with?
Yeah, the family took the road trip.
Come on, that's from 4th of July. Come on, that's what it was.
That was my favorite moment. My favorite moment from the movie. The time he spent in the van with the family. I enjoyed that.
Okay, all right.
I feel like they were in the movie 4th of July where they were headed out to Area 51. The Powers family. Yeah, that's the feel I got with that.
I enjoyed it. What else, Jay?
I don't. I mean, it didn't it didn't follow the other two movies. Like what the first movie, that was like the whole point was the symbiotes couldn't like find symbiosis with the host, and like people kept dying. But in this movie, everybody's just let's
You just bonding with your host.
A free for all. A symbiotic orgy. A symbiotic orgy. Yeah.
it's just it bothered me. I was like, all right, so we didn't need part 1 or 2, but I mean,
Did you have a favorite scene or moment in this movie though?
I liked what was the name? The doctor with the Juno Temple was
Juno
that.
Temple?
I love Juno Temple, okay,
Yeah.
and I liked that was my favorite part of the movie. So when she got her symbiote,
Yeah, she had like the long hair.
yeah,
Juno Temple. Yeah, that was cool. Did she survive? I don't remember.
yeah, she survived.
She survived. All right.
Is that the one that he did the dance scene with in Vegas?
No.
No,
That was Mrs. Chen from the.
yeah. That was kind of my
They were up in Vegas. She's happy
Yeah,
to show up in Vegas.
yeah. That scene was weird, so I kind of like that scene.
Yeah, that was weird.
Her letting her personality flow.
Yeah, I don't know about that. So was Juno your favorite actor in this movie also?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, I like the other doctor. Her name was Clark Bacco.
Oh, yeah.
Her real name is Clark Bacco, but Sadie, the other doctor, I think she lost her symbiote, didn't she?
She did.
She lost her symbiote.
Yeah.
Leonard, who is your favorite character in the movie?
Actually, I like the guy that plays Venom.
Oh.
I thought there was some pretty good acting he did throughout all three of them, since it was kind of like a soliloquy. I mean, it was him and the character Bunyan, so I kind of liked the way he did that pretty good.
Well, yeah, it was all right. But the one thing if I was to pick something I hated or would have changed, it was your dance scene with Mrs. Chin in the hotel. Like she just randomly shows up in Vegas, has a suite, and they do a whole dance number. I was like, what the hell is happening to this?
That was wild. That was wild.
I thought it fit the rest of it. I thought it really fit the random stuff that comes.
Yeah, it was very random.
That was the final dance.
Yeah. I get it. The final dance. There you go. Yeah, that was dumb. And who's watching her store? If she's in Vegas, like gambling, like where's her store?
Well,
Who's watching?
but don't you get Trailer? That's her alternate ego. I mean, so she's away from the store. She'll have to be the store person who, if you remember, in one of the other ones, he accused her of being apparently older than what she was. So,
Yeah.
So wait, was that in New York? Was she supposed to be in New York, or were they like somewhere else? They were in San Francisco.
It was San Francisco.
San Francisco. Okay. All right. What would you have changed about the movie, Leonard? Or what something you didn't like, or would have changed?
okay. I didn't like, and you guys have to explain this to me, how, let's take the airplane flight part, and that may not be the only place, but where they could separate and yet the human could survive, up in the deep freeze like that. Why didn't the symbiote stay enclosed in him like he did the first couple of ones? He allowed, both of them had bodies.
Yeah.
Did they explain how they got to that?
No, because he did throw him off the airplane, and he was just his regular self, right? When he was.
Yeah, but the fact that he was even on the airplane because he was complaining about it being cold. So I thought the symbiote would just encase him and he wouldn't feel anything. But they were like two people talking.
Yeah, at that point he couldn't because they could see the codex or whatever. I mean, he fully changed.
Yeah,
That's a storyline from the comics. I don't remember what it was called, like the Venom Wars or something. I don't know.
King in Black or something like that.
King in Black, yeah.
King in Black. Yeah.
But
See,
I never read that.
I see that's the other problem I have with it, because the whole way the codex is formed is if you die and the symbiote brings you back to life. They have in the big fight scene, the security guard dies and the symbiote brings him back to life. So they got another codex right there.
That's what I was thinking. Is it only one codex? Because several people died.
Yeah,
Isn't he?
This is what happened with Tom Hardy. They let Tom Hardy write the movie. He wrote part of the movie. This is the problem. I love you, Tom Hardy. You're a great actor, but stop.
That's funny.
because they never specified. They never specified there could only be one codex. They didn't specify that.
Yeah.
Had they said it can only be one.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought he was rare or something, and that's why. Well, they did it.
It was rare because if you die and the symbiote brings you back, if their life forces merge or some crap. So
nice.
Yeah.
What would you have changed about it, Jay? All right. So what would you have changed, Jay?
Check this out. At the end, when Venom was dying and he gave Eddie the metal door to protect
Cover him. Yeah.
What that it's acid. They were destroying the whole facility with acid. Why would you give him a metal door to protect him? Why not just push him further away or something? It makes no sense.
That was a special door.
That was
the general. Did the general die then? Because he was getting acid
he
dropped
blew
right on him.
He blew himself up with a grenade.
Okay. That's right.
That bothered me. I would have changed that. That bothered me.
Oh, you wouldn't have killed the general or the door?
No, the door. Just that makes no sense.
Maybe he had put some kind of dome over him or something that was made of adamantium. They had mentioned that somehow.
or some of his life force. Here, I got to give you some of my life force. Let me cover you in this special Venom life force. It'll hold back the acid.
Something different. Yeah. Or maybe the other girl, Juno Temple, had shown up and covered him with her, but I guess then that would have made no sense because how would Venom have died in the...
I mean, she could have just grabbed him and took off with him.
Yeah. Another thing I didn't like was that music, like at the end where they're showing Venom and Eddie like they were a couple, and like they were just like with the
Yeah,
music, they're just like,
yeah.
I don't remember what the song was. But it's like, am I supposed to be emotional right now? Like, cause
It was Maroon 5.
it was
I
Maroon
remember.
5.
It was
Yeah,
that. That was also strange.
yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, what is happening right now? Am I supposed
But
to be getting like teary eyed over this? Like, what
well, if you go back to the first, second, and third movie, they started off developing like a bromance, right? Because there was a
Yeah.
scene when all of a sudden Venom knew all human emotion because he told Brock, "You need to apologize to her." You know, if you remember that, and Brock said he didn't want to apologize, but he apologized to her, and after he apologized, his girlfriend looked up and looked kind of strange, and then Venom told him, um, cry, cry. They really like that, cry. So it was kind of like they built a bromance.
And they built the bromance, and we were supposed to be emotional at the end.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, that makes sense. Sure. All right, Jay. This was supposed to be the last of a trilogy, but apparently they're gonna keep going with it. What do you like to see in the sequel?
Well, I don't think Sony's not gonna keep going with it. They're not gonna keep doing any of these movies because Craven didn't make money, and if Eddie Brock's out, I mean that would just leave Juno, and I don't see people going to see Juno in Venom 4. Like,
I mean, they has to bring in Spider-Man at this point, right?
yeah,
And that was my
I don't
question.
think.
There was no mention of
Yeah.
Spider-Man in any of them, I don't think.
Yeah, they have to bring Spider-Man in at this point to keep it going. If they continue to do that, they have to. What do you want to see in the sequel, Leonard?
If they do have a sequel, it would be Spider-Man, because there was no mention of Spider-Man in all three of them. And I'm like,
gotta bring Juno Temple back too.
because wasn't Brock himself? He was in Spider-Man a minor character before he got Venom, right?
And
Before Venom got him. But
no, he was never in. But you know, they did in the after credits for the second movie. They did mention because he got brought over to the main universe. Eddie Brock did. So
Okay.
they did mention Peter Parker. Well, they mentioned Spider-Man.
Which Spider-Man? The No Way Home movie?
Yeah, No Way Home.
Okay.
No Way Home.
The Zendaya.
Yeah, this is Dave.
All right. All right. So in the end, though, are you recommending this movie to friends and family?
I would say only to the Venom fans who watched 1 and 2 and want to do the closeout.
Yeah, that's what I would. If you watch the first two, you might as
If you
well
watch
close
the
it out.
first two, you might as well close it out. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess I agree with that. I will. It would make no sense to just come into The Last Dance fresh without knowing anything about Venom and why it just make no sense. All right. So, have you seen any of the other movies any of these actors have been in, and do you want to recommend any of them?
Yeah, check out Juno Temple in Fargo. Check her out in Ted Lasso. Just top notch.
Ted Lasso was awesome. Have you seen Ted Lasso, Leonard?
No, you guys got to remember, you moving me toward a genre that I don't usually watch. I'm just doing this for you guys. I'm waiting until we like get into something more logical. You know, like I think Star Trek has got what's it called, J31.
Oh yeah, Section 31.
Section 31 coming up.
Oh, yeah, hey, we can do that. It's out.
It's a possibility. We can't do that next because we already have our next movie planned, which I will tell you about in a few minutes. But also, I want to mention Stephen Graham, who was the detective. He's in a show called Bodies on Netflix, and he's also in Boardwalk Empire on Netflix. And he's a good actor also. A couple other things from this movie, Jay, you would know. Danny Rojas was in the beginning as the bartender. He's from Ted Lasso also.
Yeah.
Danny Rojas, Footballer's Life. And a question I had is, why if they were in Mexico, why was the news on the television in English? And that was the one thing that bothered me.
Oh, America.
America. Gulf of America, yeah.
Gulf of America.
You got to play your news in English now.
Where's the Gulf of America? Okay, I was ready to drop the navigation system, Google Earth, because they had shouting, "Oh, well, I'm going to name it Gulf of America for people in America, but for everywhere else, it's going to be the Gulf of Mexico." Come on, we pandering. He's pandering.
Well, we don't do politics here on the Infinity Stream podcast, so we're going to let go.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was doing navigation.
All right. Any other things you want to mention about the movie before we wrap it up?
Me would be that it seems like all of the movies, and that's one reason I kind of got out of the comics a little bit in the movies. And this has got to do with you millennial generation and thereafter. They're reaching for a counseling session, a therapy type session, a emotional involvement, and I go to these kind of movies to see the action and the reaction and the strategy, not how I feel about my family. Am I gonna cry today? Yeah.
Hey, I'm with you on that one in the sense of we didn't need that bromance montage at the end. You're correct on that one.
Yeah, I don't want to see my heroes crying.
Yeah, I want to see my heroes crying. I want to see them kicking butt. So I want to give a shout out. Jay heard this earlier, Leonard. I don't know if you knew, but Fat Jack himself died recently, and he was the owner of Fat Jack's Comic Crypt here in Philadelphia. And it was like, I mean, that's where everything started in my comic book history. Fat Jack's Comic Crypt. So he passed away. I was at his funeral today, so I just wanted to shout out Fat Jack. Rest in peace, Mike, and we will see you on the other side. You guys have any shout outs for this week?
Nah, I got no shout outs. I got no shout outs. Rest in peace, Fat Jack.
Especially after that, we're gonna get to Fat Jack.
Fat Jack. All right. Our next movie is highly rated. It starts with a K. He's a hunter. His name is Craven.
Okay.
We're gonna give that a deep dive and see if all the hype, see if it's worth all the hype that it's been getting. So, Craven the Hunter next time on Infinity Stream Podcast. All right, for Jay, for Leonard, good seeing you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, later, guys.